live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Not Quite Ready for Prime Time live stream with the Disney Nerd Herders. Woohoo! And tonight we have a very special guest. He is a buddy of mine. I've known him for about 20 years. He's also a poker buddy. Don't play poker with him. He's very dangerous. He's a shark. All right. His name is Scott. Welcome to the stream, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
You want to give a little lowdown on what your channel is and what you do?
Sure. My channel is The Crime Busters, and I have a comic book called The Crime Busters, which I've got right here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I write and draw and self-publish my comic. Go through Kickstarter, and it's sort of like it's an ode to teen detective stories like Scooby-Doo. But sometimes, unlike most Scooby-Doo, sometimes the ghosts are actually real. So yeah, it's just sort of a fun comic that I do. And so a lot of the stuff on my channel, most of it is about the Crime Busters or comic books in general. Sometimes I look at my collection and do that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yes. Well, we have both read your comics. I've read it a couple times. Avery has skimmed through it. Mm-hmm. He loves the drawings. He loves the well, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but he loves the bad guy, what that looks like, or the
I should have worn
the costume. You should have, man. Unprepared. All right, and yeah, but it's a fun read. We liked it. We liked it a lot. I love I like Trixie a lot. She just appeals to me. Jumps off the page. She's awesome. When I see, Chuck Chandler?
Yes.
We have Christopher Reeve. Yeah, a little bit. You can see it a little bit. Superman a little bit.
All right, let's do the chat. We have people in the chat. I know a lot of people are probably getting ready for Thanksgiving, so we don't know how many people are going to be.
Yes, thank you everybody in the chat. We know it is the day before Thanksgiving, and for those who are traveling, be safe, please. And yes, we have Jamie in the chat. Welcome, Jamie. Anna Paula Castro. It's been a long time since we've seen you here too.
Hi, Anna.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Tony's here.
Tony, yeah.
Kay Atwood. Welcome, Kay Atwood. Welcome, Laura. Hey, Nomadic Rat Pack. It's an AJC raid. Wow. Thanks for coming over, guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pam's fam. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Pam.
Tracy.
Oh, my kindest K hugs. Happy Thanksgiving. Tracy Alex. Welcome. Eric Newman. How you doing?
Hey,
welcome. Thank you for stopping by. AJC Magic TV. Thanks for stopping by. Wow, guys. Thanks for everybody for coming on.
I know, especially
in our chat.
Thanksgiving Eve.
We're expecting crickets. Everybody's gonna be driving or traveling or
cooking,
thinking about everything but
cleaning.
But the Disney Nerd Herders.
I just wanted to do a good close up of the comic book.
Cool.
That way everyone can see it.
The Crime Busters first issue.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I enjoyed reading it, and when
she had her big magnifying glass.
Oh my gosh,
her
my eyes are so bad. I didn't get a higher prescription in my CVS glasses because my good ones are at work, and so I actually read it with my magnifying glass, and when it ended, I was like, oh. I didn't want it to end, so I'm already waiting for number 2.
Yes, number 2 is in the works, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to Kickstarter at the end of January. I've got 2 pages left to do, but then I'm going on my honeymoon, so it's going to have to wait a little while. But yeah, I'm excited to get issue 2, but I'm also excited to talk all about Disney here. I know a lot of people.
Awesome, yeah. So we'll definitely pick up later on with the comic. We have comic questions for you. We have comic book questions for you. But I think we are going to start this puppy off because, Scott, you are a well-traveled Disney traveler extraordinaire. There is rare. I don't know many people who, I think I know one other person who has gone to as many parks as you have.
Yeah.
What parks have you gone to?
So, of course, I've been to all 4 of the parks that in Disney World in Florida. I've been to Disneyland. I've also been to Tokyo Disney and Tokyo Disney Sea, and I've been to Disneyland Paris.
Now, with Disneyland, are you saying Disneyland plus the California Adventure, or was it?
No, I haven't been out to Disneyland since 2000. So they were just opening it last time I was there. I haven't been back to California since then. So I'm looking forward to eventually getting a chance. And my fiance and I have talked about going to China. There's 2 parks over there that I haven't been to yet because they opened too recently. But
is that Shanghai and Hong Kong?
I know one of them is Shanghai. Yeah, I think so.
Shanghai?
Hong
Okay.
Kong, that's right. So
welcome, Jim. More sunshine, please, into the chats.
Mike Wheeler.
Mike Wheeler's in here too. Mike Wheeler, you weren't first. I was surprised.
I know. I was expecting to see you there. Slacking off.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. Really appreciate it. And Stacy Herder is here. I hear she's a real jerk.
I know her.
I know her. That's her. Now, Scott, you just got back from Florida and you got to check out Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, tell us.
Yeah, that's right. We were just there last week, and we spent quite a bit of time at the Galaxy's Edge at the Star Wars land. So I've got a lot of opinions, feelings, deep feelings, a lot of emotions.
Do you have Disney Plus? Just curious.
Yeah, we have Disney Plus. Yeah.
Have you watched The Mandalorian yet?
Yep, we've been watching every episode as they come out.
Every episode. Okay, so was there a all right? There might be spoilers here, which I just heard of something. But I guess there's Baby Yoda in the land.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think that's public knowledge.
Did you see that?
I didn't see any.
No.
No. There were some merchandise, which I gather I've been reading that they have a big push now. They were trying to keep it a secret so there wouldn't be spoilers, but they also want to rush things into stores for Christmas. So right now they're like trying to get all this stuff out. They did have some merchandise already there in a couple of the stalls, but other than that, no, I didn't see any sign of.
Someone showed a plush Yoda, but to me, it didn't look like a baby Yoda. It just looked like Yoda.
Yeah, I think the one that Jim showed last night was a miniature.
I think it was just a regular Yoda.
Yeah, it wasn't baby. I think he was saying that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they are. They haven't really gone full blown with the Baby Yoda stuff yet.
Okay. We want to welcome Rob Fuzz. Rob is here.
Rob's in the house. Awesome.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Rob Fuzz.
And This Our Dream.
This Our Dream. We said try to Tracy, right? And then we have.
And then, no, did you already? I'm sorry.
Who?
Scroll down.
Scroll down.
We said Jim, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
Nomadic.
Yeah, you said them. Okay.
Yeah, we said them.
Every time you take.
Welcome, guys. For those of you just showing up, we have our good friend Scott, who has just come back from Walt Disney World, and we're about to talk about many, many parks. He's been to Disneyland Tokyo. He's been to Tokyo Disney Sea, Paris, and California and Florida. So
I don't know.
4.
I don't know what.
That's 3 more than us.
Was it Tokyo
Disney?
Sea?
Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland, right?
I've got
they call it Sea? Okay.
the guide map here. See if I can.
Guide maps.
Pop them
To
up.
Tokyo Disney Sea, and Tokyo Disney Sea is interesting because there's a bunch of rides there that are not at any of the other parks. In fact, the whole park is almost completely unique. So
wow.
it's based on the center of the park is a Mediterranean seaside village. And then there's other areas. One thing that was weird is there's a section that's called American Waterfront. And part of that is actually a New England fishing village. So it's really strange to be in Tokyo and walking through this Disney version of Gloucester. So that was a little weird.
How did they do? Did they nail it?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Saltwater taffy and
So
Lobster and crab.
The one that I remember the most was 7 Voyages of Sinbad, which was kind of like sort of like the old Snow White ride. You know, you just sit in the thing and they have the little like figures come out stuff, but nothing to do with Disney. It was all Sinbad and the 7 Voyages of Sinbad from Arabian Nights. So it's an unusual experience because it didn't feel that Disney, but it was. So
was it a dark ride?
Yeah,
Typical dark ride. Wow. Yeah. 7 Voyages of Sinbad. Is Sinbad big? And so this was what park are we talking about? Tokyo?
Tokyo Disney Sea. Yeah.
Disney.
The Disneyland Tokyo, the main park is almost an exact replica of Disneyland in California, except everything's spread out. Like it covers a bigger footprint, so you can fit more people in. So it felt very familiar, but at the same time, there was like more walking. I did get to go on the Nightmare Before Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion they had there.
Oh, that's neat.
So that was cool to see that. Yeah.
All right. So how did you want to tackle this now? I had some general questions, and then you just want to go back park by park? Because I had some questions about each park.
Sure.
Then I had some questions about which park rules them all type of thing, you know? So
okay.
So obviously, you just went through Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will want to know, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, mine too. Awesome. Good choice. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So I had a question as what your favorite park is, but then I was thinking, should that be what is your favorite Florida park or your favorite park in the entire world? Maybe give us your favorite Florida park and then give us your favorite park in the entire world.
It's always got to be Magic Kingdom. It's got to be Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom? Okay.
Yeah. For me, the parks go in the order that they opened is how I feel about them. So the hierarchy is always Magic Kingdom, Epcot, MGM, which I know it's not called MGM anymore, but it's really hard for me not to call it MGM. Yeah, in that order.
Cool. And then how about your favorite park in the entire that you've gone to?
I really liked, Magic Kingdom in Florida is probably always my sentimental favorite, but Disneyland Paris was probably the most interesting of the parks that I've been to. I really enjoyed it. It was unusual. What I really like, having been to the park so many times, is seeing the differences. And so like Tokyo Disneyland, there weren't that many differences because it was very much just trying to copy California. But in Paris, they made changes to rides for the European audience. And so it made it like a fresh sort of new experience for me. Now, this was back in 2003 when I was there, so I don't know exactly what it's like there now. But when I was there at the time, it was really interesting, some of the differences in the rides.
Cool. We have to welcome in D&G Explorers. Welcome, Derek and Gregory. Thanks for stopping back, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the chat. Did we miss anybody?
We have rain and lightning going on.
We had thunder before, too.
Oh, I didn't hear any thunder. Big flashes.
Did you get any thunder out your way, Scott?
No, we haven't heard any thunder. It's raining, but no sign of thunder yet.
All right, so you had a good segue into Paris. So why don't we just start with Paris then?
Can I answer my question before I forget it?
Yes, you may.
Is the cast members in Paris, is their how they are, their persona, I guess, the same as in like Magic Kingdom, where they're always smiling and welcoming and happy?
Or are they snooty, I guess?
Or yeah, because I've heard like, I don't know, what we watched something where stupid Americans or something. I don't know what we were watching.
I don't know. I think there was we were watching that latest episode of
Imagineer.
Imagineering, where they didn't get a really warm reception, I guess, when they first built in Paris.
Oh yeah, didn't they get like tomatoes and stuff, eggs thrown at them?
Eisner got eggs thrown at him. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is the cast members there compared to?
Was it Eisner? I think it was the other guy. Somebody got eggs thrown at him.
Yeah, when I was there, I didn't have any trouble with the cast members. The other guests at the park, some of them were a little grumpier than I'm used to, say. It's also, this is in 2003, so I faced a lot of grumpiness, not to get political, but everywhere I was on that trip in Europe, there was a lot of grumpiness because the Iraq war had just started. So I go to places and they'd be like, yeah, there was definitely a strong anti-American sentiment in the country at that time. But I didn't have any trouble with any of the. I didn't notice anything about the cast members. They all seemed fine.
How about the language barrier? Is there a lot of people there that will speak English, or is it like all the rides in French? We've never been, so we're just.
It wasn't difficult, and part of that's because there was a lot of people from other European countries that were coming. Like there's people from Spain that were on the tram with me, and because there were so many other European languages, they had English sort of as a base language so that everybody coming to the park from different parts of Europe could communicate. So I don't remember having any trouble with any language barrier when I was there. In the park. In the country, yes. In the park, no. The park was fine.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they would have maybe more English use in the park.
Yeah. It felt that way to me. I don't speak any French.
No. Okay.
But the park was fine, and I really liked. It's very convenient because there's a train stop at the parks, and there's also a train stop at the airport. So you can fly into the airport and walk from your plane right onto the train. It'll take you directly to Disneyland, and you can just get off and go to your hotel. So that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
really good. It was really nice.
Is it? So it's pretty close to.
It's about a half hour by train outside of Paris.
Oh, can you see Paris from it, or?
No, but in Tokyo, you can see Tokyo from the park. You can see the city. It's right there.
That's cool.
It's much closer. There's a subway stop. It's above ground, but there's a metro stop in Tokyo at the parks. So it's just like, if you're on the T, for instance, it's just like you get on the red line and one of the stops is Disneyland.
Wow.
So
wouldn't that be so cool?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Tell us a little bit about the castle in Paris, Disneyland, Paris. Is that the one with the big dragon underneath it, or?
I gotta be honest, I don't remember too much about the castle.
Okay.
I think this is just memory. I might be wrong, but I want to say it's Beauty and the Beast. But honestly, I don't remember that much about the castle. I remember like Space Mountain, for instance, is very different, so I have vivid memories of that. The castle, not so much, because Space Mountain is done up like Rocket to the Moon. It's like a Jules Verne story, and so the outside's completely different. It's sort of like a steampunk, like late 19th century vibe, and then inside there's actually a storyline where you're taking the rocket ship to the moon, and like the moon's there, and you're flying around it. So there's like there's story elements as you're going through the ride that they don't have at the other Space Mountain parks. Yeah. Okay,
so I guess Pam said that there is a dragon there.
Yeah, it's almost like when we were watching the Imagineering.
Yeah.
It was almost like a little tour. There was actually like a little storyline in the castle where like Magic Kingdom.
That was in Disneyland.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the Disneyland one we saw.
Oh, okay.
Where they walk through and there's like a little.
In Florida, we just have that boutique.
Yeah.
You just walk through with the mosaics.
D&G's gone to Disneyland Paris. I don't know why I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Cool. Awesome. What was your favorite ride in Disneyland Paris?
I really liked their version of Pirates. I think it's the best version of Pirates.
Really?
Yeah, they have the this again, I'm going from memory, and this was 16 years ago, but it's set up like a Mediterranean fort. So the outside is like a fort. There's cannons and stuff, and they're facing their version of Tom Sawyer Island, but there it's Peter Pan's the Skull Island. And so they've got Captain Hook's pirate ship is parked there facing Pirates of the Caribbean. So there actually looks like there's a pirate fight. And then when you go in, there's like, you come in like on the second story of the fort, and like pirates come like swinging into the window, and they're having like a sword fight with the defenders of the fort. And it was really cool. I really liked Pirates. I also liked... I found their version of Haunted Mansion really interesting, because when you go into the graveyard scene, there's a couple things. Part of it is that there's a grave digger digging a grave, and you actually go into the grave. You're like,
really?
Oh, that's cool.
And
That sounds cool.
when you're in the graveyard, their version of the afterlife or whatever, hell or whatever that's supposed to be, is actually the American Old West. So there's saloons and gunfighters. And it was just really weird. It was so surreal. You go down there, and I was like, "What's happening?" It's like an episode of Bonanza all of a sudden.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really weird.
That's funny.
You got Big Hoss and Clint Eastwood, and
Yeah, it was just
that's awesome.
and where they were coming from with that. So
I
That's
gotta
funny.
welcome Expedition Greg into the house. He
Hey,
was the
Greg.
person that I was talking about in regards to the only other person that I knew who went to so many parks. And Expedition Greg has gone, I think, to
All of them.
I think he's gone to every single one.
I think
nice.
So that's
Yes.
impressive as well. Welcome, Greg. Anybody else we missed? Welcome to the chats, guys.
That's it.
Thanks for
I
stopping
know-
by.
I think Pam has to stop out because she's got to get the pies out of the oven.
Oh,
Don't burn those
man.
pies.
All right, Scott, what's your favorite pie?
Favorite pie, I like a chocolate cream pie
Yes,
Me too.
correct.
with some whipped cream on it.
We got the wavelengths going
Yeah.
here tonight. Yeah, chocolate cream pies are awesome. All right, so do we want to ask anything else
No.
about Paris while we're in Paris? How's the weather in Paris? Do they have like a big mix like New England type of thing, or is it?
No, it's more temperate. It's not as warm as Florida, but it doesn't typically get as cold. These days, I guess with the climate change, it's much hotter there in the summer than it used to be. But when I was there, I was there in the fall, and it was probably in the 60s. So it was nicer than here in the fall, but
Cool.
Huh.
Awesome. All right, so let's head out west. We'll go from Disneyland. We'll skip right over Walt Disney World because we kind of touched a little bit on that already. But well, actually, no. Let's hit Walt Disney World on the way over to Disneyland.
Okay.
All right. So, your favorite place to eat in Walt Disney World?
This is a tricky one because I have developed over the years a lot of stomach problems. So places I used to like to eat, I can't
Me too.
do it so much. It depends on, there's certain restaurants in each or dining areas in each park that I prefer to go to. I like the Columbia Harbor House when I'm at the Magic Kingdom. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
We do that one.
If I'm at Epcot for food, I probably would prefer to eat at the food court at the Land Pavilion. But
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I like
Yeah, we
place
hit that
too.
one out. Yep.
Sunshine Terrace.
what I really like is the Mexico, the restaurant in Mexico, where you sit with the like the pyramid and the ride goes by,
yeah.
and it's like in a Mexican like little town there. I really like that restaurant quite a bit.
We
Yeah.
love the atmosphere there. We can't find anything that we like to eat there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried it.
Stomachs too.
We've
I'm
tried it 2 or
surprised
3
we picked
times,
that
and we just
one.
can't find something that we really think that it's worth it. I guess.
Ours is Tepanidu. That was our choice of Epcot.
In regards to food, right?
Food, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. But
Yeah.
as
Yeah. It's tough for like at MGM, which I'm just gonna call it MGM.
we all know what it is, don't worry about it.
The SciFi Dining is my choice. It's just it's a little bit harder for me to find food there now that I'm okay with my stomach. That's when, in the 90s, that's where I would go every time. I love the atmosphere there. These days, it's just we actually ate at a really good place, and I don't know what the name of it is, in the Galaxy's Edge in the Star Wars land. It was kind of Mediterranean themed in terms of the food. Of course, they all had all these like space names because they're on Baku, but the food was kind of a Mediterranean style, and we had some really good stuff there. I don't know what the name of that restaurant is though.
Anybody in the chat know what he's talking about? I'm sure they'll know the name of the place.
We've always had, it was always a challenge to find some place to eat at Hollywood Studios for us.
Yeah, and we usually end up
50s prime time.
The 50s prime time cafe.
They do have a lot of options.
We used to do the SciFi drive-in, but we didn't like how we're kind of like, we either had to sit in the car where we're separated kind of from the kids, and the kids will face forward and we're face forward. We didn't really like that at the time. The kids were younger.
I think now
or
they
you could
probably
sit at
appreciate it more.
the car that's kind of like a picnic table in the back, which we weren't really.
Well, we wanted to experience the true
either,
experience.
Yeah. Right.
When we did eat there, the kids were on the younger side, so it probably wasn't the best for us. But now I think they'd appreciate it a little bit more.
Probably, yeah.
So.
All right, cool. All right. Your favorite time to go to the parks down at Disney? What's your favorite
time of year or time of day?
Time of year.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually I had a question for you guys, because I used to go in the 90s. I would go sometimes several times a year, like multiple times each year, some years. This decade, not so much. So this trip was my first like extended trip there since 2014. And normally I would think, from my past experience, this would be a good time of year to go, like early November. But actually, I found it to be extremely crowded. And I don't know if the parks are just a lot more crowded than they used to be in general, or if I just happened to hit like a crowd. Because normally I would say, like, I don't like to go when it's crowded. So
this
beginning of October
to
go.
Yeah.
Like end of January. So like before we get to the February like school vacation, but while it's still cold enough that most people don't want to go. Right. End of January is a time that I like.
End of January,
because right now all the crowds are there because of all the holiday, all the decorations and stuff, you know. So even like the Floridians that might not go into the park, they're going into the parks this time because they're seeing all those.
If the festival just started, like now you're just having like the Food and Wine Festival is just ending.
Yeah.
And I think it's either done like yesterday or today or very soon.
But then you have the Christmas parties.
Then you have the festival of
the candlelight
holidays or something like that.
Yeah,
that's just going to be starting up. So you have people that are trying to hit those transitions. They're hitting the Christmas parties. They're hitting everything. So I think these last couple weeks might be getting a lot of those people there that are trying to experience those things before the Thanksgiving.
I saw a couple lines that I've never seen. This is my 28th trip to Florida, and I've never. Yeah, there's a 25-minute line for the Wedway People Mover.
Yep, that's been all this past summer.
Yeah,
this past summer was a huge line.
Everyone
almost
is
every
loving
day.
that ride.
And that was
like a big thing.
That we were in July, last August even.
Yep.
Yeah, it's luckily it moves pretty fast. I don't think it was a 25-minute wait when we were there. It was definitely long. It was like through the whole the entire snake thing.
Yeah.
And I would say it was probably more like 10, maybe 10, 15. Because again, it does move pretty quick.
Yeah.
Unless they're having an issue where it's shut down, where it just rained or something like that, or a bunch of leaking or something's going on. It's usually not that bad, but the line has definitely gotten like 3 times as long as usual.
They stop the line before the ramp, and then they'll let people go, and then they'll stop it again.
Yeah, when the turnstiles up at the top are packed, obviously they have to shut the ramp, or else you'll be getting people at the top. That'll be very unsafe. But
I've just never seen that. Like all the years I've been there, the previous 27 trips, I can only remember once or twice where there was any line at all for the People Mover.
Yeah,
and
right.
People Mover's my jam. You know, I love the People Mover.
We do too. But yeah, I would say it's just the last 2 years that we've noticed an actual line. for the
Yeah.
people mover. Before it was
Yeah.
just right on.
In Peter Pan, the lines have doubled since they renovated it.
Well, they've always been long because
Yeah,
it's
but
a
it's
it's
not
a
as
it's a
long as they
slow
are
moving
now.
ride.
I
but
know, and there's not a lot.
We got a fast pass for Peter Pan because my fiance
That's
wanted to go on it, so I knew I didn't want to. I have certain weight limits depending on the ride.
Yeah.
There's nothing at the Magic Kingdom that I want to wait more than 45 minutes for. So because I've just been on all of them so many times.
Right,
And
right.
Peter Pan, the line was between 60 and 75 minutes the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, first day we were able to get fast passes. I got one for Peter Pan and for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
We missed Eric. Eric had to go. Happy Thanksgiving to
Oh.
everyone from Eric. Thank you for stopping by, Eric.
So I just want to do a time check. It's
popping back in.
7:30.
7:30.
Because we want
Yeah.
to make sure we talk about the comic book too.
Right. Well, we got
Okay.
yeah, we're almost done. So
Okay.
Walt Disney World. All right. So this one's kind of like a general question. Favorite character. Who's your favorite character? Walt Disney World character.
Disney character.
probably. Now let me clarify. Just any Disney character or like a park specific? Do you mean like?
I would say Disney. Probably stick to Disney. I don't know, animated maybe, but I'm not thinking like Star Wars or that. You know.
Donald Duck is probably my favorite classic Disney character.
Okay. Cool.
In terms of like the more recent stuff, I'm a big fan of Mulan. I'm a big fan of Moana. So I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm sort of looking forward to the new Moana ride. I wish it wasn't. I think if I remember right, it's replacing Journey in Imagination, which is like my favorite ride at Epcot. So
what?
That's the first I've heard of that, man. Wow.
I could be wrong about that. So if someone knows more than I do, please correct me. But that was my understanding that they're putting in the new Moana ride when they're doing the big Epcot revamp that they're doing now, where they're changing like 5 or 6 rides all at the same time. So
why would they put Moana in the Imagine?
When I heard they were doing the Moana ride, I assumed it was going to be in the seas, in the living seas. But when I saw the map, it looked like it was actually where the Journey to Imagination Pavilion is now.
Wow.
And when I was at the parks, there were people that had like shirts that said like save Figment. There was like a movement to like, because they don't want to lose Figment.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So like, and I'm totally on board here. I've got this vintage, one of my
Figment. Yeah, let me hang on a second.
Figment.
There you are.
It's a vintage Figment.
Oh wow!
Oh, I remember
cool.
those. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
I've got a bunch of knickknacks here to show off, but I'll wait till it comes up in an appropriate time in conversation.
All right, guys, let's quickly jump over to Disneyland, California, and then we'll finish off with Tokyo. All right. So Disneyland California, right? Now, can you confirm basically it's like a super condensed Magic Kingdom where it's like supposed to be everything's shorter, everything's more quaint, everything is more
yeah, I mean, some of my best friends are also big Disney fans, but they're from California, and we always argue. They're like, "Oh, Disneyland is the original," and I'm like, "Well, it's the beta testing, is what it really was." In Florida, the thing about Disneyland that I don't like is it's everything. Yeah, everything's shorter, but it's at the time it was built, it was in the middle of nowhere, but now it's right in the middle of the city, and you can see. You can just see the city outside the park. You can just see like hotels and buildings, not from everywhere in the park, but a lot of places. And I don't know. It breaks the immersive experience for me.
Yeah, we're noticing that too. I think.
I mean, of course, I like Disneyland and I like the things that are different there. I like the Matterhorn, and they have New Orleans Square, and the Haunted Mansion's different because it's a New Orleans theme instead of like a New England theme. But yeah, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I will have a hard time with that. I think I'll walk in there and I'll be like, it's too small.
I'm afraid of going out there, right? And all of a sudden you're comparing everything to Magic Kingdom. You're comparing everything to Florida and everything. All of a sudden it's more claustrophobic or something, and isn't big enough, and we're afraid of walking in there and being totally disappointed.
Part of the thing I love about Walt Disney World is because there's space, there's a lot of room. Everything's larger than life, you know?
Yeah, there's plenty of room.
Cramped.
There's plenty of room
and you
down
don't
there.
see anything outside. When you're there, you're in Disney. You're like in a big Disney bubble.
Yeah.
You know?
That's just one of our concerns before.
Yeah.
Thinking about going out there. Hopefully we'll get out there eventually, but again.
Kay was saying that the Moana ride is going to be like a water experience.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. The thing will be a walk-through attraction over near the land and the seas. Really?
Imagination is on that same side.
Right, but
do you think
that's on the other side would be between the land and the seas. That might be something totally. Maybe it's
like I said, I didn't see anything at the park. Like, you know, a lot of times when they're they'll have those like big boards that are like coming soon with like a map of what they're doing. I didn't actually see that there, so I'm just saw something online a while ago. I could be completely wrong.
All right. Well then, okay. So, did you have a favorite ride in Disneyland, California?
Pirates. I know I've said Pirates for like each place.
Yeah.
Pirates
Hyperspace Mountain.
They have the Blue Bayou restaurant that's right at the entrance, and so when you get on the ride at Pirates, it's like you're slowly going through the bayou in Louisiana on your way out to the Caribbean, right? And so there's like fireflies and there's like lanterns and like a little house, and like, so just that beginning, I really like that a lot.
Cool. Pam's fam is baking pies for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, chocolate cream pie.
Please.
Oh, you don't bake chocolate cream pie, do you?
I don't know.
You bake that?
I've never made one.
I don't think you bake that. I've never made one. Yeah, I don't know. I've eaten them, and they're not warm.
We like apple pie.
Apple pie. I like pecan pie.
All right. So what? Tokyo Disney?
Tokyo Disneyland and what? Tokyo Disney Sea. Do you know their proper names?
That's basically it, I think.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got I think I've got my pass here. If you can
Multipass.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was for Disney Sea.
Cool. How much was it back in 2005?
It was 500 yen. So at the time I was there, it was about $45.
Wow. For a day pass?
Yeah, for a single day.
Wow.
Was that like a park hopper?
No, it was just for Disney Sea.
Oh, still $45. I'd take that any day.
I know.
Now
they're 100 something. I know.
Now they're probably encroaching 145.
Oh.
Welcome, Mickey Bunch. Thanks for stopping by. All right, stopping by during her break. Mickey Bunch, she actually works in Disney World.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, definitely cool. All right, so Tokyo. Now, we've seen some other people's videos of actually going to Tokyo. They can't say enough great things about it. I guess the people and the cast members all are so friendly, and everywhere is clean, and they have lots of interesting food choices, and they have immaculate bathrooms. Can you confirm all that?
I don't really remember that. I remember the entryway was a little bit different because there was I just blanked on how to explain it, but like walking up to like Main Street, there was almost like a
It's like a giant mall, right, or something?
Yeah. There's like enclosure, like glass.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I was mainly focused on the rides. I don't really notice the state of the bathrooms too much unless something's gone egregiously wrong.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I mean, it was fine. It was exactly the same as California. So if you've been to California, it was the same thing, just sort of just a little more spread out. So you just had to walk a little further to get to everything. So
Really?
yeah, it was a pleasant experience, but it felt a little too similar to me to California to really like excite me, especially since I had been to Paris just 3 years earlier. I was expecting something like that, where a lot of the rides have been tweaked sort of for the audience, but it was just really very dedicated reconstruction of everything in California.
I'm thinking that might be because I thought I heard somewhere that when they were initially going to build the new park in Japan, that they actually wanted something like exactly like Disneyland,
Didn't
because
they have
all the
some
people
timing or
from
something too?
Japan that were going over to California Disneyland, they loved it so much they wanted the pretty much an exact replica.
I think they had a time limit. I thought when we watched something that it was like also a time limit, and they were like, and because they wanted the exact same thing, they already had all the models and everything, so they were able to meet it because of all that.
I think that was
Paris?
Paris. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the episodes with
Tokyo. Oh,
anything like
I
that,
don't
except
know.
for they've only gotten to Paris so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think so. Anyways, favorite ride in Tokyo?
It was Haunted Mansion, because it's the only time I've been able to see the Nightmare Before Christmas version of the ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I happened to be there the week before Halloween, so they had redone the whole ride as Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, cool.
So that was the one thing there that was like a really unique experience for me. I think they do that in California, but not in Florida.
They do.
So
Yes.
it was cool to see that. That was my favorite part.
Now, you said you could see Tokyo from the park. Can you see like Mount Fuji from the park?
Not from the park, I don't think, although it was raining the 2 days I was there. That's actually why I went to the parks both days. I went 2 days. I was only going to go one, and then I was going to go to Mount Fuji the second day, but because it was so rainy, I figured it really wasn't worth going all the way out there, and I wouldn't even be able to see the mountain, so I just went to the parks instead. So maybe if it was a clear day, there are places in Tokyo where you can see the mountain, but the day it's hard for me to say because it was rainy.
Huh. Cool.
Oh, you gotta keep it on the time.
Yeah. So this is my last question, and then we'll switch over to comics. All right.
Okay.
What is your favorite castle of all the parks you have gone to?
Well, that's a good question, because in California, if I remember correctly, that's where they have the story where you climb up through the thing, and they've got like I do like that.
Yeah, but it's like this big, right?
Castle's much smaller there. I mean, I like Florida. I'm always a Florida person. I'm going to controversial opinion, but this is something that just stuck in my head. In 1996, they redid the castle for a year as a giant birthday cake.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot of people hated it.
Yeah.
Which I get, because if you've never been to Disney World and the one time you go, the iconic castle has been turned into a giant, like, pink birthday cake.
Yeah. But
since I've been there 28 times, I have a weird soft spot for the pink birthday cake castle. The Christmas castle, like, we were just there and they had it all done up with the Christmas lights. I mean, that's probably my actual favorite. But, I've got these pictures of that cake, and every time I see it, it makes me smile because it's just kind of so dumb looking.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing the cake, but again, we've gone to Disney every year since I can remember.
Yeah, we've gone probably 30 times.
So I think that's why the cake didn't bother us, because it was something new and different.
Yeah.
Definitely, I remember seeing it live. I remember it being odd and saying, wow, that's pretty cool and stuff.
Yeah.
But looking back at some of the pictures, I'm like,
it's gaudy.
Garish. It's really
my memory's a little bit different when I look at the pictures. I'm like, oh,
but I still love it just because it's like I've got, some of my paraphernalia here. I don't know if you remember these. For that year, they gave out. You could get these pins. They were stickers. but they're like hard, and they'd ask you what either your first year at the park was, and so you'd wear these around so you could show everybody, how long you've been coming to the park.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I got 3 or 4 of these, so I'd have some extras. I'm saving one for when I go for the 50th anniversary, so I can wear it again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go. You went earlier. I didn't go till like 88.
Yes,
What
I did.
year did you go?
81.
81.
81 was my
Yeah.
first.
I got a couple pictures here from 75 here.
All right, let me present you.
Yeah. So
Hey, Ron.
that's me with my dad. You can see my brother Lance is we're over here, and you can it's probably too blurry to see, but this is the sign for the entrance to the Jungle Cruise. So we're right in front of the Jungle Cruise line, about to get on this Jungle Cruise entrance.
Huh.
That's funny. That's exactly how you and Lance looked like when.
And then here's the Bicentennial Parade.
Oh.
There's Goofy and Mickey and Donald dressed up as the Revolutionary Soldiers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, Bicentennial. That's 76, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Funny. That's cool. Wow, man, that's great that you have that.
Something to show you here before we jump to comics. That's here we go. We went to Epcot the first year it opened. So
Oh yeah.
Opened in the fall of '82. We went in the summer of '83. So there I am wearing my my Epcot shirt with Figment in the Dreamfinder.
Yeah.
I remember him.
That was awesome. And he used to hang out in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna wear it, but it's a little too small.
Cool. That's cool.
You keep those forever. Wow, that's awesome. Cool. So you didn't answer my question. What is your favorite castle? You just
Oh,
go,
the
I'm gonna go with the birthday cake. Let's go with the
birthday
birthday.
cake.
Okay. All right. So you want to talk about comics?
Sure, let's do it.
Awesome,
This
man.
is comic book.
Yeah, the comic that I made, the Crime Busters, it's the first issue.
So you want to give everyone your history? What got you into comics? When did you start comics?
There's a specific answer to this, which is my parents joined a bowling league.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at the beginning of 1984, when I was 10, just before I turned 11, we would go bowling, and I didn't want to just sit there and watch my parents bowl for 2 hours. So they gave me a little money and were like, go play a video game or something. And I went to the convenience store next door, and they had a comic book spinner rack, and I bought some comics to read. And as soon as I read the first one, that was it. Like, as soon as I read those comics, I went home and I wrote out a checklist of all the issues, and I checked off the ones that I had, and I put them in the folder, and it was immediate collector, like the instant I got my first one. So it's just, I had read comics like Garfield and stuff before, and I think I had Archie's maybe, but my first comic book, it was Black Hawk number 269, and I just as soon as I read it, I just knew I had to have all of them pretty much.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. All right, so I had some general comic questions for you.
All right.
I'm not sure how you want to go about everything. Do you have do you have what your best comic to cartoon conversion would be? Book to TV screen, Saturday morning cartoon type of thing, or afternoons, school afternoons, after school?
That's a tricky one for me because there's a whole period where I didn't really watch cartoons. So when I was a kid, I would say that they all sucked.
Really?
But the ones that I've heard are really good were sort of after I stopped kind of watching cartoons. So
okay.
I'm actually not a huge fan of the 90s X-Men cartoon. It was a little after my time. I was already in college when that came out. I know people love that one, and stuff like, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the Saturday morning cartoon from the 80s. Because I grew up a Seventh-day Adventist for religious reasons, I wasn't allowed to watch TV on Saturdays, so I never saw any Saturday morning cartoons. So I never actually even saw that one. But
that was like my favorite, probably.
yeah, the ones I hear that are really good from the 90s, like Batman Beyond and the Batman the Animated Series. I didn't see because it was, I was in college. It's something I might watch now, but yeah, so I don't really have an answer, I guess.
How about G.I. Joe? Did you ever get into G.I. Joe?
Yeah, I saw the original G.I. Joe miniseries when it first aired. I think it was in 83. It might have been in 84, but I think it was 83. And loved it immediately.
Was that the one where they're searching for all the different pieces of
yeah
against yeah, I love that thing too, man. I remember that.
And trivia, you may know this, but the cartoon was created because of the comic book, and Marvel actually created all the characters, like the story, the backstory, the names, all of that was Marvel. The G.I. Joe cartoon at the time, they weren't allowed to advertise the toys on children's television. So the way they got around it is that they did animated commercials for the comic book. And then those commercials did so well that they decided to just turn it into a full-length cartoon. So yeah, the cartoon came about as an advertisement for the comic. Little known.
Do you have a favorite voice actor for your current comic stuff?
Voice actor.
I know, like Avery, he can tell me some.
No, not really. I mean, again, the more recent cartoons I just don't know that well.
Okay.
I really liked, Mark Hamill as the Joker. I know as
yeah.
Yeah, Avery will always tell us if he's in. He'll know.
He knows Mark Hamill's stuff. I guess he's into his voice or something. I don't know. So cool. All right, then. How about your favorite comic of all time?
My favorite series is one called Sandman Mystery Theater. So it's not the better known Sandman series. There's a really well known Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. It's not that one.
Okay.
Separate series that was coming out at the same time, and basically it's like a crime noir series. It's set in the 1930s at the beginning of the DC universe, because at that time in continuity, Sandman was the first superhero in the DC universe, and so it basically explores that period in the 30s where there's a lot of like pulp stories, like The Shadow and stuff. So it's a lot of crime dramas. The Sandman doesn't have any powers. He just he has a gas gun, and the gas that he shoots will make people tell the truth before they pass out. So he wears a gas mask and a trench coat and a hat, and then he goes around solving like murders. That's my favorite series. It's just very well written, very tightly written.
See, when I hear Sandman, I'm thinking Spider-Man bad guy.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, it's not that guy either. This is a DC series.
DC, all right, yeah, totally different.
DC back in the 40s, and then this character Sandman originally appeared in 1940. His first appearance was in 1940. This was a reboot in the 90s that sort of brought him back to his roots.
Cool. So let's jump into Crime Busters. So what would you like? Again, we got. I did sign up for the Kickstarter, so that's a disclosure to everyone. I did sign up for the Kickstarter, and I got a bunch of different variant covers, right? So this is pretty much the
regular cover.
Regular.
For people who didn't see the intro, this is a comic that I write and draw, and it's kind of like an ode to stuff like Scooby-Doo. So it's I want to say teen detectives, although they're in college, so they're actually 20. But it's for the ease of conversation, let's say teen detectives. So it's like Scooby-Doo. There's a group of detectives. They're solving mysteries. There they are there. And
I love the drawing, by the way. I love the
Yes.
It's awesome.
the twist on Scooby-Doo here is that sometimes the ghosts and other supernatural monsters and stuff that they're investigating may actually be real. So it's just sort of a passion project of mine, and I have the first issue that came out this summer, and then I'm just finishing issue 2, and I'll be having a Kickstarter for it at the end of January.
Is it okay if I show some of the other covers?
Yeah, sure. There's while you're showing that, there's going to be a bunch of variant covers, of course, for issue 2. So the Boy Comics cover is because this guy Chuck Chandler with the red shirt is a character from the 40s, and his series back in the 40s was called Boy Comics. So as one of the variant covers for people that are hardcore comic collectors, I continued with the series logo and the numbering as a sort of a tribute to the original series. The content's the same inside, but
yes,
Yeah.
I love these variant covers. Actually, this Trixie Trouble kind of reminds me of Josie and the Pussycats a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Them?
I specifically styled my art after Archie style, specifically Dan DiCarlo, who is the artist who created Josie. Josie was actually modeled after his wife. Trixie intentionally is drawn, as the other characters are, to sort of resemble the Archie characters. So that's.
And then we have. This is Avery loved seeing this guy right here. It's the Secret Circus.
Yeah, that's Death Mask. That's the villain.
Yeah, he was like, oh.
And
Yeah.
that cover is sort of designed.
It reminds me, he's got his character called the Monster.
And he's got like down horns.
Yeah,
and he's
his
got
horns,
teeth,
yeah,
but
upside
he's-
down.
Yeah, but
Similar.
it's cool, man. He loved it. He was like, and then when I told him that, don't want to steal your thunder.
No, but yeah, we can make this now. I know we're running short on time. For issue number 2, I'm going to be having the set of variant covers. There's a group of covers that I do for each issue. There's the Boy Comics variant featuring Chuck, which is an homage to his series. There's the Trixie's Mysteries cover, which you just showed, which is an homage to like Nancy Drew and other girl detective novels like Trixie Belden. I do one cover every time that's an homage to that's Kickstarter exclusive for people who back on Kickstarter. But we're also this time going to be doing another variant cover, which is going to feature Avery's character, Super Avery. And, that'll be available again with all the other ones that Kickstarter will go to the end of January, and it's going to have my characters on it. It's going to say the Crime Busters present Super Avery. And then in the comic at the back, the last 2 pages or so are going to be about Super Avery and about Avery creating comics. So I really love Super Avery. I love what he's doing, and I wanted to find a way to sort of support that. So,
is it okay if we show?
Yeah.
Avery Drew.
Yep.
What Avery Drew? This is some. What would we call these little? With actors, you would have screenshots, right? So this is almost like a Super Avery
Like a
screenshots,
headshot.
body shots of Super Avery that Avery has driven in different outfits. But yeah, don't worry about time, man. We can go past 8. It's not like we're going to turn to pumpkins at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so
don't feel rushed.
At least one of those will be on a special Super Avery variant cover. So for people who want to get that and support, Avery, that'll be an option. And like last time, there'll be a package. If you want all the covers, you can get all of them. I think we've talked about this unofficially. What we're going to do is a certain amount of the proceeds from anyone who buys the Super Avery covers, I'll be giving to you and Avery, and then we can donate it to an autism charity. Under Kickstarter rules, I can't officially do that under the Kickstarter. Like I can't announce on the Kickstarter that we're doing that, because they don't allow you to do charity. We can do it and we can talk about it, but when I do the Kickstarter page, just to let you know, I can't actually mention that it's for charity because they'll pull the whole thing down. But I can say that as a contributor, Avery will be getting a certain amount of money from this.
Don't worry.
again, we'll be donating that just so everyone knows.
Well, thank you.
Or you can do whatever you want. If you want to go to Friendlies, that's fine too. But I thought,
Man, you should have saw his face when we told him when you suggested that to me. I was floored. First of all, I was like, wow. And then when we told Avery, he was beaming, man. He was like, yeah,
he really lit up. He did.
He lit up and he ran over and he started
finishing
drawing.
He
started working on his comic book, and it was you don't see that too often. You know, he likes the things that he likes, and I've noticed that when people have shown interest, like when I'm reading his comic books, when he likes reading the comments, or he likes seeing, you know, how many people, like the first one actually had gotten, my sister had done something on Twitter where it actually reached Mark Hamill.
Oh, awesome.
Mark Hamill actually made a comment saying, you know, obviously he probably didn't look at it or anything, but he said, you know, keep drawing, Avery, or something like that. And just that comment himself, with Mark Hamill commenting on Avery's comment, he was like, oh,
yeah, he couldn't believe it. Yeah,
he's like, all of a sudden he's like, I'm Mark Hamill's best friend, you know. But it was cool, and it was cool for Mark to even just do something like that.
Right.
But he was he was over the moon for that. Yeah. And that one actually got over like 500 views or so.
Yeah. The other thing is Avery hasn't met face to face, but there's another autistic boy that likes watching you narrating and doing the comics, and so now I message his mom to let him know when the next one's coming out, so that way she makes sure she watches it with him. Yeah, so so it's just not him doing it. There's other kids that like it, and it's neat that like the other child has the exact same diagnosis as Avery, but he's more kind of one of those savant type ones, you know. Okay. So so it's just neat just seeing that autistic kid can see what Avery's doing, you know, and support. So yeah, and I think Avery gets a kick out of me reading it, and I think Avery puts stuff. I read it for the first time online, and Avery, I could tell he puts like little Easter eggs for his brain inside the book, because he's looking. I can tell when he's looking at when I'm approaching a certain spot. And you can tell when he starts looking at me for my reaction and all. Space Taco Bell. I was like, okay, yeah, and then I start laughing, and he starts laughing, and he's just. You can tell he was waiting for me to hit that spot, you know, because I have him in the area when I'm reading, just in case I can't read something he wrote, or if I have questions, I like to interview him while I'm asking him while I'm reading it, like what's going in his brain, what was he thinking of, or if something, or if there's a really, really long fight scene, I might jump on him for that and ask him what's he thinking or whatever. So it's good to get live. I like to read it live for the first time. Then I love to have him there to give live feedback. He also edits on the spot too. If he spells something wrong, I was like, "What's this word?" And then he'll kick out his pen right on the camera, and that was funny. Yeah. But he's gonna be. Oh my god, he's gonna be over the moon. Dude, when he sees it. If you get that in writing, man, we're gonna always cover a wall on it. I know. Seriously. Thank you again for.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. Like I've been thinking about it for a little while, and then as I mentioned, I had seen a comic that an 8-year-old had done that I got at a show called Space Boy Goes to American Ninja Warrior, and I was like, you know, why not? I could do this. You know, I can do a variant cover. It's easy enough for me. I'm glad that he liked the idea. So I'm looking forward to it. Now that I have the artwork, I'm gonna add my characters to it, and then I'll put something together so we can show it off.
So what is in the comic book world, what is the importance of a variant cover?
There's a couple things. There's collectors that like to do the variant covers for different reasons. Some people like to collect variant covers by their favorite artists. So they'll only buy the ones that are by specific artists. Others like them because of the rarity. Most of the time, a variant cover at DC and Marvel, they have like incentive variants. It really depends on why you're doing it. For me, I'm doing it mainly because I just want like the variety, so that I have a different fan bases. I have like, for instance, when you look at the Boy Comics variant and the Trixie's Mysteries variant, I have a group of fans, readers that are really into Golden Age public domain superheroes. So like Chuck Chandler, he appeared in comics in the 40s and 50s, and now he's in the public domain. There's a group of people that make those, that are comics about these public domain superheroes, and they buy other people's, and that's what they like. But I also have a group of people that are not interested at all in that, but they're really like detective stories, like Scooby-Doo. They like Nancy Drew. And what I've found is that those audiences, particularly at shows, at comic conventions, they'll buy one cover but not the others. Like I have some people that get, the base cover because they want to read the story, but there's other people that will just come over and they'll just buy the Trixie's cover because they love Nancy Drew and that sort of thing. They couldn't care less about the other,
Okay.
and vice versa. There's people that just want the Boy Comics one because they collect, like I have a complete run of Boy Comics. So the whole reason I started to do this originally 10 years ago was because I wanted the next issue and there wasn't one. And since it's in the public domain, I can just do it myself. There's other people like that. They collect Boy Comics. They have up to issue 119. So when they see the issue 120 cover, they want to get it to see what happens next. So I like to just have the variety of different options. The Kickstarter exclusive cover is something I do. If you back it on Kickstarter, you can get a cover that I don't sell anywhere else. And that is sort of a reward for my backers, So there's different reasons. There's a whole thing with variant covers and how they're propping up the comic book industry, but that's separate from what I'm doing. So we probably don't need to get into that. But for me, yeah, it's like, it also does help me sales wise, because there are people that like all the covers and they will buy the whole set. So now instead of selling one copy of the comic to someone, I just sold 4. But there aren't that many people that do that. It's really just to give people a choice of what they want.
I loved all 4 of those covers, man.
Yeah, I
saw some of them when you were previewing or whatever, and I was like, I like them. When I got them, I was like,
they're
wow,
very
this is
eye-catching.
awesome. Yeah, it's awesome job, man. Let me quickly say hi to Walt and Melissa from Mouse Talks who popped in before.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for stopping by. They are driving over to Walt's mother's, Walt's parents' house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So they were listening in a little bit. And D&G Explorers is live right now with Jim. They're talking about what they do for Thanksgiving. So go check them out, or you can hang out here for a few more minutes and then go check them out and tell them that the Nerd Herder sent you. Also this and that at 9 o'clock. Go check them out they're doing what they're thankful for. And also check out Dean at theliveplace.com, who does he has a listing of all the family-friendly live streams throughout the week, and he does some awesome vlogs himself, and you should check out the latest one that he did. Still look at that one. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then check out More Sunshine Please on Tuesdays at 7:30.
Eastern.
He is 7:30 Eastern time, and he does it on Tuesday nights. And I believe we're going to be on his show next week, so check him out. All right, Scott. So So what else do we want to mention?
I guess the last thing I really wanted to mention about my next issue coming up, issue 2.
Yeah, it's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's called The Secret of the Ghost Bride, and I specifically wanted to mention it to your audience here because it's inspired by a haunted mansion. So I knew I wanted to do a haunted house story because that's the genre, I made a list of like what are the classic stories that Scooby-Doo, there's always a haunted house. And so as soon as I thought I needed to do a haunted house story, I knew it had to be a Ghost Bride, because when I was a kid, the bride in the attic at the mansion in Florida was so scary. It's not the one they have now. If you're an old school person like me and you remember the original bride from back in the day, she has a specific name. I don't remember what it is right now, but she's much scarier than the one now.
Yes.
And it terrified me as a kid. Like, you go to the Haunted Mansion now and you think, oh, this is tame. You know, no one's going to be scared by this haunted house. Not true if you're a kid, and particularly that just scared me. So like I was. So anyway,
I think her name was Stacy.
Inspiration for this. The story is completely different, but I have some Easter eggs in here. If you look at the cover, which I was hoping to show here, I thought I'd have prints ready to show off here, but I didn't quite get them done. But the cover for issue 2, if you look at the haunted house in that cover, you might notice that it's based on the Haunted Mansion in Florida. And there's some specific panels inside that are Easter eggs for fans of the Haunted Mansion as a nod. Again, the story's different, but the initial inspiration for the whole issue is specifically from the Haunted Mansion. So, yeah. So if anyone,
do you have to, as an artist, do you have to be like careful of what you draw in regards to Easter eggs from the Haunted Mansion? It's like you're not gonna get sued by Disney if you do like Madame Leota or something, or is it nothing like?
Just fair use. Like I could theoretically do it. It would be touch and go. If I have a character that looks like Madame Leota and I call her something like, Madame Leota, that would be a better idea. People would know what it is, but it's not. Then it's a parody, and so that's sort of protected. Like having, like I said, the house on the cover. This is just meant as an Easter egg. You can tell it's the Haunted Mansion if you happen to know what the Haunted Mansion looks like. I changed a couple things about it, like the coloring and stuff, so it wouldn't be an exact thing.
Okay.
If I had on the front cover something that said like the Haunted Mansion, like on this cover it says
Disney's Haunted Mansion.
That said Haunted Mansion, and then I had to picture the Haunted Mansion, I might be in trouble. Realistically, I'm so small potatoes that Disney probably wouldn't care, but that would be something where I might be getting in trouble if I were using like a trademarked thing like the Haunted Mansion. Okay. So just having a couple inside jokes, that's fine. People do that all the time. But yeah, that is something that I thought about, because at one point I wanted to have a blurb on the cover talking about the haunted house, and then I was like, maybe I better not.
Yeah. Huh.
We'll have to feature that when it comes out so everyone can see it,
Yeah.
Cool.
And whenever you want to be on the show, just let us know. We can work things out, because obviously we're a Disney Channel as well, and you're more than qualified to be chiming in on that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And if anyone else happens to be in Massachusetts, I'm going to be at a show this weekend at Boxborough.
That's right.
Yeah, it starts Friday night, 3:30 to 8 Friday, and then it's like 10 to 6 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I'll be there with Crimebuster. I'll have some prints. Again, I thought I was going to have some new prints with the cover number 2. It's possible I might still be able to get those. There was a mix-up at Staples, and they forgot to make them. But I have a bunch of other prints. Some of them you can see where
back there. All right, hang on. Let me get a little bit closer so we can see.
Yeah, so I've got one of the variant covers for issue 2, which is Vera in space, and then I've got the whole gang on a pirate ship here. Eventually, that's going to be the cover of issue 11, but that's going to be like 5 years from now. And then I've got a Uncle Sam versus Cthulhu wrestling poster here. Cthulhu verse that might be of interest. So I'll have those. I might have some other stuff, but the main thing is I've got the comic if anyone wants to read it. So
can we mention the name of the thing this weekend? I have it written.
Yeah, it's called Northeast Comic Con.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's in Boxborough.
In Boxborough. It's right off of 495, so it's very easy to get to.
Really easy. Yeah, I was looking that up. We might be going down there Saturday.
We're going to try doing Saturday, so make sure we look for you.
Now, one other question that I had for you in regards to comics that I wanted to make sure for those people who are out there looking around at flea markets or garage sales or whatever, what is the top things you should look for when looking for collectibles or very valuable comic issues that you might be surprised where it might be worth $100 type of thing? What's the things to look for? Untrained comic eye.
Untrained it's actually difficult to find if you're untrained, and the reason is, I mean, in a general sense, condition is the most important thing.
Okay. Like I remember when you had the one that you found that I had, it was a second edition, right, or something. It said
it was the Man of Steel 17 second print. I think
it was the first showing of Darkseid.
Doomsday.
Or Doomsday is hand, right, or something.
Yeah. So
it was cool.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you got to be doing this for a while to know about that one. And that's what's tricky is that these days comics have become kind of like baseball cards, so it's less about the story and it's more about like the cover and first appearances. That didn't used to be the case quite so much, but now it's like because people can just read the stories anywhere online or whatever, it become much more of a collectible than like an actual thing to read. So the stories are less important than the like collectible importance. So like the first appearance of a character is more important than the beginning of a storyline, for instance. So if you know the characters first appearance, you can know which issues to look for. But it's kind of hard to have like a general rule because it's something where you might look at, there might be 100 issues of Hulk and none of them are worth anything except for this one happens to be the first appearance of Wolverine and it's worth $2,000. So you're not really going to be able to tell that. But, you have to know what it is you're looking for most of the time.
Okay.
In general terms, condition is the most important thing. So stuff that might be worth money in nice shape, if it's not nice, it might not be worth much. A lot of people who don't know about comics but have comics, that's when they're trying to sell them, they're like trying to get ridiculous amounts of money because they think, well, this copy sold for $2,000. It's like, yeah, but that copy was like a 9.8 on a scale of 1 to 10, and your copy is a 2, and your copy is worth like $50. So condition is very important. But otherwise, you look for age. Let me see if I have an example here. Just real quick.
I remember when we watched The Comic Book Man, they always will say, "Oh, this was the comic that was first appearance of this." They always say that. First appearance of this, and that's why.
That's what the people are looking for.
Yeah.
So if you want to look for older comics, one thing you can look for as a general rule, here's a comic from like 73. Where is it?
Let me present you here.
Yeah, you see the Comics Code Authority here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a watchdog group that would approve all the comics. It came into existence in like 1955. So you want older comics are generally worth more than newer comics. So just as a general rule, if it's an old comic but it does not have that, it may be worth something because that means it's pre-code. If it came out before 1955. There's a couple publishers that never did that, but they were like funny animal books. So like I'm getting in the weeds here, but hero comic that's clearly old but does not have that Comics Code Authority stamp on it, it might be worth money because it's from before 1955.
Okay.
I guess that's a general rule. You're not going to find those at flea markets very often or yard sales, but it does happen still occasionally.
Awesome. Did you want to play our Guess the Tron game?
Let's do it. Let's guess Tron. I did see them building Tron.
Write his name down.
I just saw, I know as of last week how much progress had been made on Tron. So
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
But I have not read anything about the ride. I don't know if they've announced general guidelines to when it's gonna run. I don't know. So this is gonna be just based on looking at the building.
Okay.
Okay.
At the construction.
So we need a month, day, and year.
Okay. I'm gonna say May 1st, 2021.
5/1/21.
Very good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So.
ETV. Doug's got that
Oh,
exact
Doug's
same
got the
date.
same day.
Very
Okay,
cool.
Awesome. So whoever comes the closest when it finally does open, it will be like the official opening date. We're gonna be probably giving them a prize. Well, we will be giving them a prize, just not sure what that prize is gonna be yet. So,
Right.
but I imagine we have another year, probably at least, before we get there. But yeah. So anything else we need to discuss, or are we going to wrap things up here? Anything else you wanted to mention?
I think I guess my website address is crimebustercomics.com.
Right. And what is your I put a link to Scott's YouTube channel down in the description below. So go check that out, please. Go like and subscribe, Scott, and you can learn all about his comic books. And he's also again, a big Disney fan, and he likes, I know a lot of people in the chats, we like the same type of thing. So check out Scott's channel and show him some love. And is your channel now, does your channel link to like your website and are links in there?
I think so. It's been a while since I set it up. I hope I set that up. I certainly did. But if I didn't, I will be fixing it.
Awesome.
So
that's cool. So you have a website. What's the name of the website?
It's crimebustercomics.com. And there's a preview there. You can read the first 6 pages of the first issue. It's got the cover for the second issue. And then there's also a when you go there, there'll be a really annoying pop-up box that might still be broken. I'm not sure, but it'll allow you to subscribe to the to my mailing list. And if you do that, you'll be automatically emailed a link to download a PDF that's got the first 6 pages of issue 1. It's got the first 3 pages of issue 2, and it's got all the variant covers and a couple other things in a PDF, so you can just read it online.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, because I know I'm on your email list and stuff like that, so I'll be seeing stuff for when the second Kickstarter starts, right?
Yeah, it'll be right at the end of January. I don't have a date yet, but it'll be the last week of January. And the first story is, I was hoping to do a little bit shorter this time, but it didn't happen. It's actually a little bit longer. So it's 31 pages. And I've got I have 2 pages left to draw. So I'm on page 29. So I'm almost done. And then there's going to be a 5-page backup story. And then the letter column. And then the thing about Super Avery. So I still have quite a bit to do, but the main part of it is almost finished.
Thank you, Kay Atwood, for stopping by. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. All right. So cool. So check out Scott's site, and he'll be putting links into his YouTube page. And keep an eye out for
the
issue 2.
The secret.
Awesome. And if you're in Massachusetts or around sort of surrounding areas, check them out this weekend in Boxborough at the Northeast Comic Con.
Yeah.
And if you see us there on Saturday, make sure you say hello. We might be live streaming if they allow it. Do you know if they allow live streaming there?
I have no idea.
No idea. Well, we'll probably at least vlog it, some of it.
Mm.
We'll probably be there with the kids. Hopefully we'll see you. Unless something that we're not thinking of comes up, but we wanted to go. So, and I think we have Saturday open. So hopefully see you there.
Yeah.
And, all right. Anything else we'd like to say, Scott?
I think that's it. I appreciate you having me on, and
thanks for coming on.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thanks for watching.
And thanks for coming on. And yeah, maybe we'll we do other subjects, and we do have other shows when we tackle certain subjects. So if I think you'll be an interesting guest on one of those things, I'll let you know, and maybe you can pop in and be on our guest panel on another show someday.
Sounds good.
If you're up to it. Awesome. And I think we are going to be heading over to D&G Explorers now. Thanks everybody for stopping in the chat and for stopping in if you are tuning in to watch the replay. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I know we went a little bit longer than usual, but we had a lot of things to talk about today. And so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Yes. And don't forget to do your duty.
And it's a big duty.
And we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. And when it stops, nobody.